Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the CouchSide Sports Report. And
I can't believe I just mana waved on that one.
thank God for that. And the last CouchSide Sports Report, as you currently know it, for a very long time, but we'll talk about that slightly later. I'm Simon, that is Dylan, we're back.
Yo!
In the second studio.
The second studio, like we're rich enough to have two studios.
Studio 2, throwbacks.
True, yeah.
Oh yeah, and it's been a busy week for sport. We're here to do our usual shtick of talk about the sport, maybe talk a little bit of shit, but mostly try to give credible opinions and invite people on the internet to either agree or disagree.
Or at least attempt to give credible opinions.
Yeah, attempt. You know, it is the internet. It's a big place. You kind of can't give everyone enough credit. How's it going, DC?
Yeah, pretty good, man. It was a very busy weekend for the both of us, in life.
Yeah. It's barely in Auckland.
Exactly, that's true. You were away the whole weekend. I was setting up a lot of stuff that I will talk about later on, like Simon said, but there was plenty of sport that went on. Plenty.
Unfortunately, we couldn't watch all of it, but a lot to go around. And we will do our best to talk about what we did see and also give our opinions on the stuff we didn't see without sounding like complete idiots. But before we get into that, socials, that's not someone in this house.
Hopefully you don't hear that. There's just, I think it's kids outside.
Bloody kids.
But besides the point, like Simon was about to say, go and follow us on all our social media at CouchSide.network on TikTok and Instagram, and then also come and watch this on YouTube. If you're watching it already on YouTube, watch the rest of our episodes, watch all our other videos, and then come back to this. But it's CouchSide Network on YouTube, and then if you're on Spotify or not on Spotify, go follow us on Spotify. It'll be CouchSide Sports Report on Spotify. And if you're listening on Spotify, follow us and then come back to the YouTube and subscribe, like, comment, stuff like that.
Yeah, and I don't know if you said TikTok and Instagram, CouchSide.network. We appreciate if you guys will chuck us a follow there, because for more breaking news, would have to post there.
Yeah, true that.
But yeah, Dylan, this is your last episode for a little bit.
It is my last episode for a little bit.
If we do manage to pre-record any.
Yeah, true.
Dylan is finally, I can't say finally because I haven't done this yet. Going on his big, I'm going to call it your
I mean, it's kind of an OE. I'm not sure I'd call it that, because I feel like OE, when people say that, it's like for ages. This is for a couple of months.
And you're not working there, you're on holiday.
No, go overseas and work. What?
No. old mates off to Europe, a little bit of the United States sprinkled in.
And a little bit of the UK as well. So.
Oh, yeah. Well,
I will be away for 2 months.
So you'll have just me and maybe other people along the way. I don't exactly know how the upload schedule is going to be. I think if all goes to plan,
we'll figure it out.
You'll still see something popping up on Tuesday at 9 o'clock or 8 o'clock, whatever time I schedule it. Might just be me sometimes. It might be a little bit more condensed, a little bit more specific. Maybe I give Dylan a call and he can give some insight into the world in Europe. I don't think you've got anything planned in terms of sports, but
no, because I am going with Gabrielle. I'm going with my girlfriend, so that takes the sport out the window.
Yeah.
The biggest sport thing I'm actually going to see is, and for my Greek people, I hope that I don't pronounce this. I probably won't pronounce this properly, but I'll try my best. But I believe it's the Panathinaik Stadium, which was the original modern Olympic stadium. So the 1896 one in Athens, that I think is still the only marble stadium in the world.
It would make sense.
That's somewhat in use.
So you'll be there.
No, I will be there.
I thought you thought for a second and so you're going to a Greek league game. I was like, gee, how did you convince Gabrielle to go to that?
No, I wish I could. But
that's a death trap.
That's something for our sports trip.
Yeah,
that's
for when we go to Greece.
Yeah, So with that being said, in order for us to go on a trip like that, you need to like, comment, subscribe on YouTube, go follow us on Spotify, and go follow our socials as well, because that would be wicked. But yes, I will be away for 2 months. I'll be back later in May, probably early June, when we get this stuff out.
Well, that's crazy, because 2 weeks after you're back, I'm off, but we'll talk about that later on. It's going to be a very interrupted year for the sports report, but I'll be hoping to report remotely.
But no, we do. You do have to live life. So,
exactly. Unfortunately, but I'll hopefully be reporting in the field when
I
I'm
hope
gone.
so.
So, but enough about me. Enough about you.
Yep.
Let's get into this
Let's
rugby.
get into some more sport, man. But yeah, we'll start off with the Aotearoa local sport. And as we do, start off with that Super Rugby, which we
Now-
only really watched one game of.
Yeah, so we should probably just breeze through the others because we
True.
can't really say too much. Opening game, Hurricanes in Napier hosting the Force, and it was a bit of a slow start for the Canes, but they did get the win 31-23 in the end. Probably not as dominant as they would like against the Force, but a win is a win. A win in Napier is a win as well. No Zach Lomax for the Force just yet. I saw Warner Durans had a great, I don't know if he scored from it, but a great run.
Yeah, he
in
did.
this game.
I believe it was off a charge down.
Yeah.
It was off a charge down.
I mean,
yeah.
Warner Durans is one of the best players for Japan, and is clearly performing at a very good level. in
He's
Super
looked
Rugby.
very good.
If he's never not going to play for Japan. He's been there since high school. He's been completely immersed in the culture there. He's here just for a year, I think, before the World Cup to get some better experience. But look, if he wasn't kept tied to Japan, I think you'd see a lot of eyes on him as a potential All Black in some capacity.
And there's so much competition there anyway.
Right now, our locking stocks, they're bursting at the seams, even with the potential of Brady Retallick coming back. And then you'd have Warner Durans on top of that. It would just be a little bit insane.
It's options on options on options.
It's a lot of options, but I'm very thankful that he's decided to come down to the Hurricanes for this season because it's great for them to have a player of international caliber.
And he's putting on a show, man.
He's
like we said.
He's playing very well. And I don't know if this is maybe a sneak peek. Maybe he tries to stay in Super Rugby long term. Other Japanese players have done the same in the past. So maybe it's just the beginning, or I could imagine that because I think he's with Toshiba. They'll be offering him the bag and a half to stay in Japan.
I would think
I'm
so.
pretty sure he's it might be Toyo. I don't know if I saw him play when I was there. And the team, I keep on forgetting what teams I did see and didn't see. I think it's Toshiba and Panasonic. I don't know if he played for either team, but he's been in the Japan setup for like 4 years now. To stand down to become an All Black would take away a lot of international games. But Ruben Love also came back from injury off the bench. Didn't know how much he did really, but he's back. He's playing. It's good for him. He needs the minutes to get back into, I assume he will be an All Black. He was last year. But if he wants more minutes as an All Black.
The only thing, if I was a Hurricanes fan, that I would slightly worry about with this is I feel like it should have been more dominant.
Yeah.
Like if the Hurricanes, I've said this, I will continue to say it, on paper this year, the Hurricanes are the best team in Super Rugby, but I'm not sure if they're showing exactly that best team in Super Rugby. Now, it is very, very early. Very early in the season. I
think they're still getting clicking. They've still got players coming back from injury. They've lost Brett Cameron as well. And even because they had that first round as a bye, maybe that plays into it a little bit as well.
And they lost to the Drua away in Fiji, which I know you call as a free loss, but I think we're going to have to start calling that a not free loss and start holding these teams a little bit more accountable for losing in Fiji.
No, because the Drua got another home win. They in Bar, I think it was the first game ever in Bar, they defeated the Brumbies, who had looked pretty unstoppable until last week when the Reds stopped them.
Yes.
42-27. So it's now 2 losses in a row for the Brumbies. The Drua, like I said, when you have those incredibly Fijian conditions in your home games, take advantage of them because you might just get enough wins to get yourself near that top 8. That's 2 wins already this season for the Drua. They'll be wanting more. And after that, a game I kind of watched a little bit on my phone. The Crusaders host the Highlanders.
Yeah.
Crusaders do get the win 29-18, but for a lot of this game, it was very neck and neck. The Highlanders looked like they, again, were getting the better of the Crusaders in time. But from what I know, he wasn't even in the main Crusaders squad to start the season. He was in their wider training squad. But Johnny Lee at open side flanker, 2 tries on debut. A lot of people very happy with how he performed. A lot of people already raving about him. He's a bit young still, so it's good to see him already adapting to the super level pretty good. And I'd like to see more of them come through because in terms of Lucy's, love to see new ones come through. I think the Crusaders, they desperately need an open side to come through. I know they've got Ollie Mathis. I know they've got other Lucy's around, but they lost Tom Christie. They still got like Corey Callow and Dom Gardner and whatnot, and Ethan Blackadder is currently still
currently
there.
playing 7. Yeah.
So to have another guy come through is probably brilliant for them.
Yes.
And takes the pressure off a little bit. The Highlanders can quite get the job done 2 times in a row. They've never done the double against the Crusaders in the season, I believe. So it was always going to be a bit of a pipe dream. But again, to only lose by 11 points, the Crusaders, they need wins at this point. They had a very slow start to the season. They want to get back those wins.
I also think somebody's got to say it. I think the Crusaders are suffering the injury bug again.
They definitely are. I think
they did, 2-3 years ago?
Leicester hasn't looked as good as he has because he's been playing on an injured quad or ankle or something.
I think Havili's now on a moon boot.
That's not ideal because he was their backup 10 cover because they've got 2 10s out. They've got plenty of players. At least Will Jordan's back in the mix now for them. That will relieve a lot of pressure.
He did what he does.
Of course he does. I mean, he's first choice at 15.
Yeah.
I think for the All Blacks, you have to say still. But yeah, the Crusaders just need to battle through this bug. Next week they'll get a little bit of a reprieve with playing Moana, but we'll talk about that later. And that's not me being a dig. It's just genuinely teams have rotated against Moana this season and have managed to still get the win.
True.
After that, the Reds keep on keeping on, beating their fellow Australian teams. They got the better of the Waratahs this time, 26-17.
Your prediction looking pretty good.
I mean, it was with reason, The Waratahs did win this tie at the beginning of the season, but that's because the Reds were just completely void of players due to injury. Now we've got a lot of guys back. Carter Gordon looks like a brilliant reacquisition for Australian rugby at 10. Cannot wait to see if that form continues for them internationally, because a 10 is just what people have been crying out for in the Wallaby setup. Carter Gordon, if he can...
We've said it.
Yeah, we've said it. I think everyone said if he can really rain the horns, that's going to help unlock that Australian backline, which already has a lot of deadly weapons, which could potentially help them in the World Cup. And a game which we watched, but we probably don't need to say that much about, the Blues hosting Moana Pacifica the last time these two met in Albany. It was a famous Moana Pacifica win. This time around, the Blues did get the dub 43-7. It was tied at first. It was a very tight first half. The Blues just weren't really playing like they needed to play. It just looked like they weren't taking chances. They just were competent with doing the bare minimum. They scored very early. Moana scored again, and then Ofa Tuangafasi scored directly after to relieve the pressure. But the second half was where it got a lot better. Bowden Barrett, admittedly, not a great first half. Second half, shut everyone up. Landed one of the best 50-22s I've ever seen. Didn't miss a conversion, or at least slotted 4 in a row in the second half. Kicking was a lot better. The back line was unlocked. No try for Caleb Clark, but yet another try for Cody Vai. I don't think he is obviously his first season in Super Rugby. I think in a couple of seasons with a few more seasons under his belt, you could maybe put him in contentions for being someone who challenges an All Black selection. I think he just has to slightly work on the defense a little bit, but I don't see him as like a temporary guy. I think that 14 jersey with the Blues is probably his.
I was about to say, you did say that was on lockdown. And you might not be wrong.
I don't think. I think Cole Forbes is definitely better at fullback. I think Corey Evans isn't going to really challenge for that. And there are a bunch of other younger guys I know, like Harlan Sanoa is with the developmental team. I know Tima Whainonuku's with the developmental team, although he's about 28, 29. So I think in terms of wing options there, it's definitely Clark and Vai options. Those are your guys.
Probably.
And I think maybe in the future we see Salnoa involved, but I think those are the two guys for now. I think Cody Vai just needs the minutes. And Xavier Taylor in his first start of the season, brilliant. We're going to be seeing
really good.
We're going to see a lot of him next season. Where hopefully could see more of him this year. I don't know if long term they'll drop Peter Aki for him.
No, I don't think they will.
It's great that with AJ Lamb, he can play either centre position pretty, seemingly. Peter Aki is a 12 and a 12.
Yeah, we realised that. I realised that there was a moment in that game where Peter Aki got caught in a wide channel defending, and he did not have the speed to keep.
And that's not him as a player. I think
exactly.
Just,
that's why he's a 12. He's more inside.
He's an inside guy. Shout out to Tofa Funaki for playing the majority of that game. Bryn Hall came, not Bryn Hall, sorry, Sam Knock came off pretty early after
He got clotheslined.
A red card high tackle from Augustine Pulu. Apparently, he does like a jumping clothesline, but it's usually on a guy who's an inch taller than him. Unfortunately, him and Sam Knock are about the same height. Knock went off for the rest of the game.
But not only did it happen once,
it happened twice.
It happened twice.
Happened right at the end of, I think this one was only a yellow card, and it was William Harvilli on. Oh God, who was it on? It was on.
It was on the back. I can't remember who it was. Not Forbes. It was. Oh. Man, I can't remember who it was.
No, I don't.
I wonder if they would have called it a red if they had more time, because it happened with like 2 minutes to go.
It was like 2 minutes to play.
It should be. That's the case.
It wasn't great tackling.
Maybe that's first team all high tackle.
I was about to say maybe that nickname you bestowed on the Australian women's sevens team can be re-bestowed on another team. But
true.
In terms of Moana Pacifica, I mean, Lalamilo, he had a try disallowed, but you can't have him unmarked. 10 meters away from the try line. I think the bold head adds like extra speed, extra
I think it adds extra strength.
And strength. I was about to say, because he just pummeled through it. It was disallowed because he was offside, but even if he was onside, I think he probably still would have scored. It was he's a very scary player on this day, and I feel like
he's a guy that gaps the line.
Last season, when the Moana team was at a higher standard, he was brilliant.
I was about to say, we went to a game. And I'm sure you'll remember this.
No, I do.
We went to the Moana game against the Highlanders last year at North Harbour Stadium. We were in front of this happening. Lalomila on Cam Miller.
It was Cam
Miller.
Yeah.
And Cam Miller went high and got knocked out.
That was one of the...
And you could hear it from where we were in the stand.
We're already a handful of rows away from the
man.
Field, and it was on our side of the field. It was a very harrowing sound. Like it's quite scary. It got on your nerves.
The fact that Cam Miller's playing now, starting at 10 for the Highlanders, and actually doing a pretty good job is crazy after we heard that.
He's definitely going to have a job on his hand when Josh Jacob joins the Highlanders next season. But with Moana Pacifica, they had some bright moments, but again, second half got away from them.
Another Lamb standing out again. Jonah Lamb this time.
Is it Joe?
Yeah, I thought it was Jonah Lamb.
It's not Jonah Lamb. No.
I thought it was Jonah Lamb.
It's
but there
Joel
you go.
Lamb.
Oh, Joel. There we go. Joel Lamb.
No, he was lively. No,
he was very good.
I thought he was brilliant
up for them.
Yeah, I was like, this guy's got speed. I was like, hey, mate, if you want to play for the Blues, like, we've had the same three scrum halves for like 5 years, so it might be.
That's true, but I think I'll be honest. I think you see for the Blues at least in the next 1 or 2 years, I genuinely think you see Funaki take that spot.
Yeah, unless someone else comes through or someone else is brought in.
I mean, Funaki almost won the title really for us in 2024.
A lot of teams, I think, have...
Christie was out for a long time.
I think a lot of teams have two very good starting quality scrum halves, and I feel like one of them will maybe filter to the Blues. It could be Xavier Rowe at the Chiefs. It could be Jordy Villion at the Hurricanes. It could be one of the guys at the Crusaders. Kyle Preston, maybe. I'm not sure. But... No, Funaki was brilliant. He definitely helped unlock the team in terms of attack. And also, apart from the actual throwing of a line out, again, the locks look solid. Yeah. Hooker is a little bit of concern. Bradley Slater started to start the season, but didn't really get fired. They've gone back to Kurt Eklund and James Mullen. Both of them sometimes having issues with throwing it straight. Hopefully those issues kind of fix themselves.
They're almost teachable issues. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but we need those sorted. But the Chiefs had the bye this week, so they will reset ahead of their game next week. But they announced that Atene Nanai Saturo, who had signed a 1-year extension for this season, is off to France at the end of the year. I can't say that is super surprising. He was linked with a move there at the end of last season, but ended up deciding he wanted to stay in New Zealand, which I think the Chiefs probably realised they lost Sean Stevenson and realised they don't like playing DMAC at 15 and went, hold up, we need a fullback.
True.
Etienne probably saw that he most likely isn't going to make the All Blacks this year, so, he's only 26, take the money, and potentially play for Samoa at the World Cup next year. I think it works out fine for him, and
makes for an interesting backline next year for the Chiefs as well. Because do you put Tomoi Falau back there? Which, can I just say, outside the 2-3 big moves that Moana players have made from Moana to New Zealand teams, Tavatawa Nawai, perfect.
Yep.
Has been great for the Highlanders now in All Black.
Yeah.
But Omua and Tomoi Falau, I mean, Tomoi Falau, it's early. Don't
It's
get me
been
wrong.
3 games, yeah.
But at the same time, I'm like, these brothers are moving from, what's it called? Oh, here comes the cat, by the way.
Is he actually going to appear on screen, or is he just going to sit in the corner?
No, he's going to sit in the
He's
corner.
going to stand in the corner like last time.
But Tomoi Falau, and Omua, they've moved to the biggest teams with the most options. We said this, and I love that we have Cody Vi there now, which is awesome. But if Tomoi Falau moves to the Blues, let's say, maybe the Blues are like, nah, mate, we've got these guys.
But maybe the Blues were onto something with Cody Vi and the others. But he would have possibly made more sense at the Hurricanes, and they're a stacked team.
Isn't that not wrong?
Genuinely. But or even the Crusaders with this injury bug.
Yeah, true.
Like, it would have made a lot of sense.
And he's a Tasman guy.
But
so.
I don't know if fullback is a position they should be looking at playing him already. He's only very young. He's still a winger. He was a winger last year. He's
was awesome at winger last year.
You know, a lot of people had him as an All Black this year. I don't know. He needs to get back on the pitch. We'll see if he gets named.
I think he's more of a after the 2027 World Cup type of All Blacks player. But we still think he's got a lot of potential. Hopefully he doesn't ruin that. But But yeah, here's the cat. The cat has now walked in. You see the tail and a little bit of the body. I might have to drag him up eventually. He's in the corner. He's in the corner scratching. So you might hear some scratching.
I thought he was.
Okay.
I thought he was
It's
licking
just the cat.
himself.
No, he does do that. But no, there are some big matchups next week. You've got the Highlanders and the Hurricanes, the Battle of the H's.
I was going to say the H Derby. In Dunedin, look, Highlanders will want to get back in the win column. Hurricanes will want to continue winning games. It could go either way. The Brumbies host the Chiefs. This is a big test for the Chiefs off the bye. The Brumbies, have lost 2 games in a row. The Chiefs, obviously.
Is that 1 and 2? But we'll do a table update after this. But I'm pretty sure that's 1 and 2 playing each other. So
I don't know if they're 1 and 2 anymore because the Brumbies have now lost twice.
The Brumbies, I think, are still at the top. I'm not going to lie. We'll check that after. But carry on.
The Drua get another home game this time against the Reds. Can they win another home game? Although they did lose to Moana at home, so we'll see. Moana Pacifica host the Crusaders. I mean, this gives the Crusaders a little bit of an injury relaxation, maybe, in terms of maybe being able to name a couple of more unproven guys from the development squad. But Moana will be taking every game seriously. They don't want to get blown out of the game. The Waratahs host the Blues. We just need to focus.
That's going to be closer than Blues fans think.
I think so. If the Waratahs are on their game, then
Max Jorgensen's awesome.
Well, thankfully, Jorgo mostly... Does he play on the right for the Tars?
Yeah, he plays on the right.
So, thankfully, Caleb Clark will be defending him.
But let's hope so. Yeah, let's hope so.
So, if all things concerned. And then the Force have the bye, and maybe we see Zach Lomax the week after next.
I would think so. In terms of table update, you were correct.
Yes.
So the Hurricanes are first. They played 4 games, so 3-1. Our Blues are second.
Yes.
They're 3-2, played 5. The Brumbies are also 3-2, played 5, but they're 12 points behind on points difference. The Chiefs are 4th. They are 3-1, but they're down, if I count this right, 55 points differential from the Hurricanes. The Reds also 3-1. They're 5th, but they are down on the Chiefs alone by 25 points difference. And then the Waratahs are 2-2 and 6th, and you've got the Highlanders in 7th, Crusaders 8th. Both those teams are 2 and 3. The Highlanders are above by 2 points on points difference there.
Good.
You've got the Drua, who are 2 and 2.
Yeah.
Played 4 games, and then the Force and Moana are both 1 and 4, with the Force 10th and Moana last. This already looks like a very similar table to the table where the Blues won it.
Yeah.
But also we've played 4 or 5 games.
Yeah.
So
there's still games to go. We
there.
can't toot our own horns just yet, although we kind of can. But that's...
We'll see after the Waratahs, because that's a... not a trap game. Trap game is the wrong word, because the Waratahs are definitely better than a trap game, but it could be a boogie game, if you get what I mean.
It could be. But also shout out to making his debut for the Blues, Malachi Rampling Alec, who looks like a unit.
Bro, that's a big guy. I said this to you as well in the game. I was
we
like, this guy is
And we need
massive.
some young Lucy's. Considering we're losing both Hoskins and Dalton in the off
But
season.
speaking of young, I wanted to say I thought Signa played a fantastic game as well.
Signa has some great games. Every once in a while, I think he's still a very talented player.
True.
But the New York Sevens have come and gone. The men's once again finished 6th, but once again, the Black Ferns played the bloody Aussies in the finals.
Bro,
How many times?
That's
in a
been
row?
the final every. Hold on, I'm going to check this because
But-
our future sponsors, Tribe.
Yeah.
Pause for dramatic effect. They what's it called? They have all the tournaments on here. And if I'm not, nope, that is the wrong New Zealand team. I've got to scroll all the way to the bottom for the Black Ferns Sevens. And for every 1, 2, 3, 4, there's been 6 competitions, and in all of them, New Zealand has played Australia in the final.
And
the
it's
women's.
crazy, this 22-21 win actually decided the championship. The Black Ferns are World Sevens series, or it's not called that anymore. They're Sevens champions again.
Already?
Yeah, I read it today. They've already won it because they've won 6 times. Even
crap.
with Australia finishing 2nd and all those other ones, the gap's already big enough.
That Australia did win 1.
Oh, did they win
They
one?
did. They won the second one, which was so the first one was Dubai, Cape Town. They won Cape
Or maybe
Town.
New York's the last one.
Is New York the last one? No way. I'm pretty sure there's another one. I'm gonna double check this.
No, I don't think it. Actually, no, I think there's still 1 or 2 in Europe. But
Yes, I thought so.
yeah, congratulations,
That's mad though.
Blackburn Sevens. Congratulations, us in Australia on a different level. It
Those
seems.
girls are awesome.
All Black Sevens. I know they're out to, without their coach Tomasi Tama because of visa issues, but come on, guys, like.
Well, hey, look, you can't be perfect all the time.
No.
So, our Sevens men's team is very young.
Yeah.
Very young.
We move on to the A-League, and I'm gutted I couldn't watch this game, but Auckland FC hosted first place Newcastle Jets on Saturday night and got the dub 2-1.
Big dubs.
Sam Cosgrove with the double, silencing a lot of people who said he was shit or was going to be shit. Yes, he scores tap-ins, but that's his job, and he's doing it.
that.
But great for Auckland, and an even bigger win for the Phoenix. They finally snapped the unbeaten streak. It's a 2-0 win. At home against Perth Glory, Corbin Piper, and an own goal to former Knicks player Nicholas Pennington. But the Phoenix women are back off their not 4-month leave. Oh, sorry, I read that wrong. The Phoenix women is the cat.
There's the big man.
They welcome back Macy Fraser.
There you go.
Macy Fraser has been out for 4 months, leave of absence for
awesome.
mental health, so good to see her come
awesome.
back. And a 3-0 win over the Brisbane Roar. They are third, 1 point behind Adelaide United and 4 points behind first, so a playoff spot definitely going to happen for them. But Melbourne City do have a game in hand. No, the Phoenix do have a game in hand.
So the Phoenix and Adelaide United have a game in hand on Melbourne City.
Cool. And Auckland FC still sits second behind Newcastle on the A-League table, but now only behind a point. Wellington are now 9th, just 3 points off 6th in the Central Coast Mariners. So they will be hoping to continue their good run and form. And I believe there is no A-League this week, I'm guessing, because international football is returning.
Yep.
And we have here in New Zealand, we're hosting both Finland and Chile. So
Yes.
I need to get my tickets for those games.
There were some big names that won't be playing though.
Yes, all injury
Sarpreet Singh, Liberato Kakacha, and who was the other one?
Chris Wood.
Chris Wood. There you go. So that's big names for us.
A couple of others as well that I'm forgetting of, but we still have the likes of Ryan Thomas. I believe Ben Old's still on the team.
Yep.
Starmanich, I think. But look, it's going to be a good team. It's going to be. We need to experiment at this point in time. We've got a World Cup in 3 months,
true.
so might as well get everything sorted. And the NRL, jeez, what a start to the season.
Yeah, up the wires, baby.
It's been great. The Broncos lost to the Eels, 32-40.
Don't ask me how that happened.
And then the following day, the Warriors against the team that gave them a lot of grief last year, the Raiders, they got smashed by them in Vegas. Then they lost by 2 points to the Raiders in Mount Spa, and the Raiders celebrated like they'd won a clutch finals game. The Warriors won 40-6.
No, I can't even laugh. It's 2 games into the year.
But
I'm not going to be that Warriors fan.
The Warriors have only ever won back-to-back games 3 or 4 times in their history, and the last time was in 2018. So
not
this
wrong.
this is a very, and without several first-team players, and with players going down early in this game, including Chanel Harris-Tavita and other players looking a bit second-hand. But the Warriors, it was close. I think the Raiders actually opened the scorings actually for this game because I did watch this. And when the Warriors just clawed it back and just all over them, Tanner Boyd is going to have to force Luke Metcalf to play at 6. It looks like he's been.
I was gonna ask you that. I think we talked about this last week, but is that do they combo that
it will
6-7? But do they combo?
Yeah. Yeah, bro.
Do they Man, I'm 13. But do they combo that 6-7 and maybe have Harris Tavita off the bench because he can cover 6 and Hooker as well?
Yep.
So.
And with the new 6-man bench, they can still have Sam Healy there as well.
True.
Just a great game from the Warriors. Jackson Ford is leading the Dally M table at the moment. He's got the most amount of Dally M points from the first 2 games.
Tough.
He's obviously deputizing for Mitch Barnett at the moment. Kurt Capewell was ruled out of this game in the warm-up due to a felt something in his calf, and we still put on a show.
Yeah, man.
The forward, Lika Halasima scored twice.
It's just what he does, bro.
It does pain me, though, because he was a Blues Academy player. He did play U18 for the Blues. He would have been amazing as a young centre.
Hey, bro, he's what, 19, 20? Like, you never know what could happen. But at the same time, man, we're both now Warriors fans.
It took me, has been.
It took me a little bit to get into rugby
league. You're like, I don't know about this.
But no, that dude's tough. He's awesome.
It feels like everyone played. Topiki off the bench was amazing.
Yes.
He came on for Chanel. Nickel Klukstad managed to hold up at 6 very well. Which is what you want. Obviously, Fisher Harris had a great game.
Yeah.
I feel like everyone had a good game, really. I can't really say much more. Dallin looks like he's back to his best with Adam Pompey next to him. You know, Pompey spent a bit of the last 2 seasons a bit out with injury. When he was next to Dallin all of 2023, Dallin had his best season, and I feel like he helped Dallin defensively a bit. So that's great.
Hopefully, the Warriors can carry this on.
Yeah, I hope so. And they do host they're away to a Knights team next week who have just lost both Kalen Ponga and Dylan Brown.
Oh, so they did lose them both.
Kalen Ponga is out for 6 to 8 weeks and Dylan Brown out for 4 weeks. So if you want to put the Knights as your wooden spooners, now would be a good time. Although they do have some decent players as well.
They do.
The Warriors should be feeling confident heading into this one. Apart from that, shout out to Alex Johnston, broke the all-time try-scoring record in the NRL, beating
good on
for Ken Irvine's try record, 200 and something tries. Allianz Stadium said, please don't rush the field. We'll fine you $20,000 or to some amount of money. And what ended up happening, 20,000 people ended up flooding the field. So good to see that. But the Roosters,
strength of numbers, mate.
But the Roosters did get the win 26 to 18. Some Roosters fans thinking they truly spoiled the party. Where not really, bro. You won a regular season game. He broke the all-time try-scoring record in the NRL.
That is pretty bloody impressive to break that. So.
Oh, yeah, he's only 31 as well. So brilliant for him.
Yeah.
But then the West Tigers, they smashed the Cowboys 44 to 16.
Tough.
But my mate told me that this was actually a game where they didn't look that impressive.
But you still won 44-16.
Yeah,
though.
Apparently though, like it was almost like they did the bare minimum, and which is crazy to say. But we'll see if the Tigers can hold that form, because Tigers fans will be thinking they're making the top 4.
True. To be fair, we think we're making the top 4.
Oh,
so.
I think we have more of a chance than the Tigers. The Storm beat the Dragons 46 to 20.
Tough.
Then the Panthers get a 26 to 6 win over the Sharks. They're probably a big favourite to win it all this year.
My uncle will not be happy with that Sharks result.
No. And the Knights still got the win over the Seagulls 36 to 16.
Yeah.
Big win, but I think the Knights, it's going to be a good game against the Warriors. And then the Dolphins narrowly beat the Titans 18 to 14 with the Bulldogs on the bye.
It's fun. Just before we end that one, everybody thought the Storm was going to be fall off, and that has not happened to start the year.
Unfortunately,
unfortunately,
it hasn't. Farlongo's played very well at one. I know there's some defensive concerns about him, but he's still very young, and he's actual homegrown Victorian player. So,
true.
I love to see him involved with the Storm. But next week, the Raiders host the Bulldogs. Should be a good game. Both teams wanting to get their form up. The Roosters have a real test against the Panthers. They got smashed by the Warriors in their first big test of the season. Can they avoid a spanking from Penrith? The Storm and the Broncos is a grand final rematch. Got to watch that. The Knights host the Warriors, like we said earlier. The Sharks host the Dolphins. Should be a nice game. The Rabbitohs and the Tigers should also be a very good matchup. You also have Eels Dragons, again, evenly matched teams, and also Cowboys and Titans fairly evenly matched.
Yeah.
The Sea Eagles with the bye. And the only local basketball we've got, the Tall Ferns, are in World Cup qualifiers, Big DC.
Yes, man.
You want to talk about it, and because you were confused about how this format worked,
Yeah,
I feel like I should have a little look-see.
All right, well, you go and have a look at that. The Tall Ferns are playing in the World Cup qualifiers at the moment for the FIBA Basketball World Cup or Women's World Cup. But they're playing 5 games in 7 days. Crazy. They've already played 4 of them, and they have lost them all. They played Spain, huge. Italy, huge. Senegal, and a absolutely stacked and Caitlin Clark-led Team USA, who they just lost to 101-46. But they do have one more game. They play the hosts of this whole thing, Puerto Rico, at 1 p.m. New Zealand time on Wednesday. But it did confuse me. The only reason I say that is because, I mean, look, we've lost 4 games. I don't think we'd qualify for a World Cup in that sense. But I think you may have the answer here, because even though I'm a big basketball guy, I don't know how this stuff works.
Well, so it turns out that all the teams who actually have already qualified for this tournament are still competing in the qualifying tournaments, like the United States. So I think they're just playing for whatever reason. I'm not sure why, but the United States, despite the fact they've qualified, have sent basically the WNBA All-Stars team.
Yeah, pretty much.
Which is nuts. Unfortunately, New Zealand has lost its 4 games so far.
It has.
But I'm not entirely sure what ends up happening. Like, do they pick the teams which have already qualified to go through? Because I think 3 teams from each tournament qualify. The United States have already qualified from our group.
Yeah.
Italy and Spain have also already qualified. Senegal are probably the team to get it. We would need to win our next game, and we've played an extra game. We need to beat Puerto Rico, and we'd also need Puerto Rico to beat Senegal for us to sneak in, because we're currently level on points with Senegal. We lost to them. I don't know how we get points. We hit. I don't know. But
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's
maybe I think we get a point.
confusing.
We get a point for losing.
Okay.
Oh wait. Well, it hasn't said we're being eliminated yet. But if we beat Puerto Rico, we get 2 points.
Yeah.
It's about 6. And then if Senegal lose 2 games, they still end up on 6, which is.
Do you know what's happening with the World Cup qualifiers?
And they've got head-to-head points. So I don't think we can qualify, which is unfortunate. But they've had to play a dream team essentially. They've got Caleb Clark, Paige Beckers. I think
tough, bro.
What's her name? Last name Plum.
Kelsey.
I think Kelsey Plum's on the team. Angel Reese is on the team. It's a stacked team.
Crazy, eh?
Yeah. But that's
and I tried to ask the cat. Even the cat doesn't know what's happening with the Tall Ferns World Cup qualifiers.
He's just looking at the table.
But he's right down here.
He's just down here. But we should probably move over to the international side of things.
Yes, sir.
The Premier League. The
man.
Premier League. So get it started. The cat's gone. Brighton beat Sunderland 1-0. Burnley and Bournemouth draw 0-0. Arsenal get 2 late goals to beat Everton 2-0. I believe Gyökeres scored the first, and then 16-year-old.
Thank you for saying it.
16-year-old Max Dowman becomes the youngest Premier League top goal scorer of all time. 16 years and 70 odd days.
Goal scorer of all time. Crazy, man. Imagine going to school after that, bro.
Pretty sure bro was born in 2009. Newcastle away beat Chelsea 1-0. And Man City are held to a draw by West Ham.
Yeah, bro.
1-0. West Ham need that point. Man City needed more. Man United thumped Villa 3-1. Forest and Fulham a 0-0 draw. That's good for West Ham. Crystal Palace leads a 0-0 draw there, although they would have wanted Forest to lose that.
True.
And then Spurs in the 90th minute, thanks to Richarlison, draw with Liverpool 1-1. If they would have lost this game, they would have actually fallen into 18th, and Liverpool would have actually been 4th. But
that makes sense. The only reason I say that is because Liverpool fans at work were pissed.
They would
and
be.
I was like, was there a chance for you guys to go top 4? Clearly, there was.
They would have been 4th. And Brentford and Wolves play each other. The Davis comes out at 9 o'clock.
Yep.
So Arsenal, you could say they're in control now. They've played an extra game with Man City, but they are 9 points clear.
Yeah, they're in control.
They have 7 games left to play. Man United are 3rd, 3 points clear of Villa. Liverpool are 5th on 49 points. Chelsea is 6th on 48. Brentford is 7th on 44, so it's clearly a little bit of a gap from 6 and 7. 6-7. Everton 8th
Join
on
the
43
club.
points. Newcastle are 9th on 42, and Bournemouth and Fulham are equal on 41 points. And when you look at the relegation side of things, well... Spurs are still a point ahead of Forest and West Ham. Burnley are 9 points behind Forest and West Ham, and Wolves are 13 points behind safety. I did not put down where Leeds are, but I feel like Leeds are about 3 or 2 points ahead of Spurs.
Yeah.
But moving on to the Six Nations. What a finish to this
Dude.
year's Six Nations. Unfortunately, Scotland can do it. Ireland beat them.
Leeds are Leeds are 15th. They're 2 points ahead of Spurs and 3 points ahead of Forest.
Cool. Ireland did beat Scotland 43-21, and with that, France needed to win, or Ireland would win the Six Nations out of nowhere. Scotland claiming a 3rd place victory. Wales did beat Italy 31-17. Italy finished 4th in this campaign. Wales still finished last on points difference. Because in a massive, one of the best games of rugby people were saying in a very long,
It was
a while.
A very, very good game of rugby.
Back and forth rugby, but I thought high scoring bats were why Super Rugby wasn't fun to watch, European fans. But this 48-46 game seems to be the talk of the town. Thomas Ramos with an almost 50-meter penalty kick in the dying, after the
it was after the 80.
after the hooter. Give France the Six Nations. I mean, they are the best team in Europe. I don't think it was a question of a doubt that they're the best team in the Northern Hemisphere. I wouldn't question it. I know we beat them 3 times last year at home, but...
And it was against their C team, and that C team was really good.
And one of those guys, one of the wingers, Adesogbe, has been starting for France in these games.
Yes.
With Biari, who's now broken the all-time record for most tries in the Six Nations campaign, with 9. Ridiculous.
And I think it's, if I'm not mistaken, I saw this somewhere, is the leading Six Nations try scorer. I don't know how he's done it. Is it Brian O'Driscoll?
I think so.
Well, in hold on. So I think he played 51 Six Nations games, scored 26 tries. Biari has played 14 and scored 18.
Yeah, he'll break
craziness,
it.
man.
He'll break it.
He's a fucking good winger.
It's a scary hit rate. It's like he's one of the most effective. He's probably the most effective player in terms of try scoring in the game. And when you've got Will Jordan there as well, that's nuts. Look, I don't know if we'll
really good and still really
don't know
young
if we'll
too.
see him on New Zealand shorts when we host France and Christchurch this year, but we will see. I would love to see him though. England, 5th place.
Guys, what's happening?
I thought you were winning it comfortably. I thought the Grand Slam was coming home. But nah. Hopefully we can beat you guys at the end of the year.
Yeah, not for this year, mate. Not for this year.
But the NBA, oh my goodness. This was a day because something else happened on this day which didn't make any sense. But a couple of things happened on this day which didn't make any sense. One of them, which you haven't written down, Max Crosby had been traded to Baltimore, and then the trade fell through because he failed his medical. And then on the same day, Bam Adebayo scored 83 points against the Wizards, breaking Kobe Bryant's 81-point game back in 2006 against my Toronto Raptors, and only the 3rd player in NBA history to have 80 or more points by themselves in a game. Dylan, Bam Adebayo. No one would have... If you were told out of the current lot of active NBA players who's going to break Kobe's 81, I don't think anyone would have put Bam
In that
Adebayo.
case, you are right.
Yeah.
But if we're saying Bam who, that's crazy.
No, we're not saying Bam who. Bam Adebayo is a player.
Bam Adebayo is one of the best centers in the NBA.
Is a player everyone who watches the NBA or claims to watch the NBA should know of.
Absolutely.
You know?
If they don't, then you're not watching enough. Well, let's be real here. The Miami Heat when they've made the finals, Bam's been there recently. So
Yeah.
like Bam is one of the best centers of the NBA and undersized somewhat at that position too.
Yeah, he's
which is crazy.
6'9", I believe.
Yeah, so it's definitely not a case of Bam who, but to score 83 points is something different.
Yeah.
And I think it was, first of all, shout out to Eric Spoelstra, who is, I think, the best coach in the NBA.
Yep.
Like for keeping him on is awesome for him to go and have the chance to break that. I don't think he would have kept him on in, say, a playoff game or a finals game, maybe game 7. But I mean, that was Bam's night, man. Awesome. And him and Asia Wilson, I think, are the only couple ever in NBA and WNBA to have like top 3 scoring records, which is madness.
Nuts. And I also saw the guy who coached the Raptors on the day that Kobe scored the 81. He was actually on TSN when the Bam game was happening, and they literally toasted wine because he was like, "I'm done. I can't be clowned anymore." But also,
you still can be for letting that happen.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander broke Wilt Chamberlain's long-standing record of most consecutive 20-point games or 20 or more point games, 128 and counting. Congratulations, Shai. His stock is.
I shocked the shit out of what's it called, Glenn at work, who's more of a football guy.
Yeah.
I shocked the shit out of him when I gave him Wilt Chamberlain stats and said Shai Gilgeous-Alexander just beat a record he had.
Yeah.
Crazy, man.
That doesn't happen often. And shout out to Shai and Bam. I think a lot of people are looking at Shai in a slightly different lens over the past couple of weeks. But
we'll see.
In terms of standings, Detroit still on top of the East. Full game ahead of the and now a fully healthy Celtics team as Jason Tatum is back. 4 games behind them. My Raptors are 6th in the East, half a game ahead of Bam Adebayo and the Heat. And in your Western Conference, DC, how is it looking?
Yeah, so of course OKC still in the lead. I'll let you go and put the charger in.
Yep.
Still in the lead with the Spurs only, I believe, 3.5 games behind. But now my Warriors are 9th after holding the 8th spot for quite a while. But the Clippers are 8th, who also became the first team in NBA history to be 15 games under 500 and then come back from that and be either 500 or above.
Yeah, let's
crazy
just hope
from
that they're
them.
not actually flaunting the salary cap, like
No,
reports
true.
are saying.
And they traded, they traded James Harden for Darius Garland, which I think is a smart long-term move, and it's clearly been working. Kawhi Leonard's been on a tear, looking like the Kawhi Leonard that we know.
Yeah.
They've got the team working there, man. It's just with the Clippers, can the Clippers actually just put it all together at some point? We will find out.
We will. But on to
Yeah.
the F1.
Yeah.
The F1 was in China. They have confirmed that the Bahrain and Saudi Arabia Grand Prix will be cancelled for this year due to global events.
Say that.
But if we look, sprint qualifying, Mercedes continue. They've had a fantastic start to the year and finished 1st and 2nd in qualifying. Russell, then Antonelli. Norris was 3rd. Hamilton 4th. Piastri 5th. Leclerc 6th. And Lawson in 13th. But in the sprint race, Liam Lawson went up from 13th to 7th. Russell ended up winning the whole thing with 2 Ferraris, Leclerc and Hamilton behind him. Norris 4th, Antonelli 5th, Piastri 6th, and Verstappen in 9th. But
not the best start to the year for Max.
no, and in qualifying, Antonelli got pole to become the youngest driver ever to take a pole position, with George Russell just behind him in 2nd. The 2 Ferraris, Leclerc and Hamilton, were 3rd and 4th. And the McLarens, Piastri and Norris, were 5th and 6th. Verstappen and Hadjar 8th and 9th, Behrman 10th, and Lawson down in 14th. But the race was crazy. Neither of the McLarens got onto the track because of 2 separate electrical issues.
Yes.
Antonelli held on for his first ever Grand Prix, won the 2nd youngest to ever do so, the first Italian driver to win a Grand Prix in 20 years. Russell finished 2nd and Lewis Hamilton in 3rd. People were saying an all-Merc podium because obviously Hamilton spent so long there.
Yeah, that's not wrong.
Both McLaren, Bortoleto and Albon did not start a lot of DNFs as well, including Max Verstappen and the Aston Martins. But Liam Lawson went from 14th to 7th, 6 points for him, much needed. And Hadjar finished in 8th.
Yep.
So the next race is this weekend in Japan. So hopefully.
It's next weekend in Japan.
Is it next weekend?
Yeah, so it's the 27th to the 29th.
Right, that makes sense.
There you go.
So next weekend, Japanese Grand Prix.
So not this weekend coming, the weekend after.
And we're going to cover the end of World Baseball Classic, but you have forgotten one very important match.
And what is that?
You did not mention. You mentioned one Italian upset, but not the big one.
This is a very good point.
So the World Baseball Classic returned, and Italy beat the United States. Almost knocked them out of the entire tournament, which is nuts.
That is nuts.
And then they went on. Basically, the US had played all their games, had lost the one, but because Mexico had also played all their games and only had lost one, they got to take on Italy in the final game. And if a certain scoreline happened, and it would be a Mexican win, I believe, the US would have been eliminated in the groups. That did not happen. Italy thumped Mexico about 9-1, which is ridiculous, and went through to the quarters as the top team from that pool. The US took out Canada 5-3 in the quarters. The DR, hot, smacked South Korea, a mercy rule 10-0 win. Venezuela upset Japan, a massive upset. Japan for the first time do not make the same as the World Baseball Classic. Ooh,
that is probably what Venezuelans were doing, drinking to celebrating that one.
Phlegm. that was heavy phlegm there. My apologies to the
but
viewers.
no, yes,
8-5.
But yes, Venezuela did take down Japan, like you said, 8-5.
I mean, Italy continuing 8-6 over Puerto Rico. Massive for the Italians. Means Venezuela, Italy will be played when this comes out at 1 p.m. On the day this comes out at 1 p.m. But the US took on the Dominican Republic. For a lot of people, was going to be the final. It ended up being a low-scoring game with Paul Skeens starting for the US. The DR, with all of the hitting talent, couldn't get to win. The US win 2-1 to book a third straight finals appearance.
And it wasn't even, I'm not going to lie, it wasn't even Paul Skeens pitching.
No.
I actually think it was the elite fielding of the US that won them this game. But also, of course, hitting 2 home runs is pretty bloody good. So, you know, like it works out. It works out.
It does. It does work out. But, the US will play the winner of Venezuela, Italy on Wednesday or Thursday. So, that will be a great game to watch. And, ladies and gentlemen,
oh, he's just come back down. The cat has just come back down for the end of the episode.
And the end of... on that bombshell, we are done.
Man.
And that wraps up Dylan's last, I guess, live episode in the way that we're... Our usual episode. We're recording on Monday. We'll be very sad to not have him here. I will still be here, believe it or not.
Yes, you will.
I'll be making great acquaintances with the cat. We might have Loki on next week, so if you like, he'll be here. But thank you so much for sticking forward for a little bit. For a little bit of a shorter episode, but we'll be back. I'll be back. Hopefully next week. Dylan will be back sometime in late May. And then I will be off because I will be reporting, hopefully, on the World Cup for this podcast. Well, not reporting, going on holiday.
Yes, I'm about to
I'm not getting paid for this, by the way. So if anyone thinks I'm coming on the visa, I shouldn't be. I'm not.
One day it'll happen.
I'll be making phone calls to Dylan and getting him to screen record him saying, I am in Los Angeles and this is happening.
True.
Dylan and I will hopefully be back for a couple of episodes in May together in person, and I'll be off for a month, and then hopefully start of July, all will be
back to normal.
As normal, considering it is mid-March now. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah,
that's a large chunk of the year to go, but we'll still be stuff here on CouchSide. Dylan, thank you so much for having me here. I hope you have a magnificent trip, although I am seeing you in a couple of days anyway. Multiple times this week, actually.
True.
I hope you have a wonderful trip with you and your girlfriend. And I will make sure that your cat is alive and this podcast continues to run.
And cat will be all right, mate. He's literally over here. You can't see him on camera. He's over here staring at the wall.
Yeah.
So I think that's a pretty good sign of he's going to be okay.
Hopefully it's a good sign. But thank you so much for watching. I've been Simon. That's been Dylan.
And before you do this, go follow us on the socials at CouchSide.network on TikTok and Instagram. If you're on YouTube, you already know where we are. But if you're not on YouTube, CouchSide Network on YouTube, go and like, comment, subscribe on the video. And if you're on Spotify, you already know. But if you're not, go for Spotify, hit the follow CouchSide Sports Report on Spotify.
Go. Thank you very much. And
Should we get out of here?
I'll let you do...
That one was way better than the previous ones.
I don't know, but I'll let you do the honors since it's your last episode for a while.
Oh, man. But no, that is Simon. I'm Dylan. We're the CouchSide Network. That's the CouchSide Sports Report. Let's get out of here. Go live your lives. CouchSide out.
CouchSide out.